In response to the vitriol flung at the supporters of the new Texas heartbeat law, CEO and founder of Tripwire Interactive, John Gibson, tweeted the following. Proud of hashtag U.S. Supreme Court affirming the Texas law banning abortion of babies with a heartbeat. As an entertainer, I don't get political often, yet with so many vocal peers on the other side of the issue, I felt it was important to go on the record as a pro-life game developer. Other leaders of Tripwire and previous partner developers that helped make games such as popular medieval warfare game Chivalry 2, the first-person shooter Killing Floor, and survival game Maneater, where you control a shark trying to eat as many people as possible, spoke out against this expression of an individual opinion. Following the expressions of discontent, VP Alan Wilson addressed Twitter and the company by stating that John Gibson's comments are his own opinion and do not reflect those of Tripwire. In order to foster a more positive and inclusive environment, John will be yeeted from the company, and I will serve as interim CEO. Additionally, the Tripwire Council of Five will be holding a town hall meeting led by newly hired HR/DEI lead Mephisto, where employees will be spurred on to share their one-sided thoughts and opinions in an encouraging environment, surrounded by fire upon the altar where employees may shout their abortions. When asked why Tripwire is making such a bold decision, yeeting their founder and CEO of over 15 years, Alan stated simply, "We are a gaming company whose genre of games glorify violence and killing." John's tweet goes against the company's mission and the directives of the new Human Resources, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department guidelines and rituals regarding the sacrifice of innocent children to the council. I'm Blue Shark 45, and this is G.N.A. Podcast. Hail, salutations, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Blue Shark 45. I'm here to make jokes that some people don't find funny. You could say that that's in honor of Norm Macdonald, who also did things that people didn't find funny, that were offensive and repulsive, but that he found hilarious. Well, Norm, we thank you for bringing so much humor to this world and to making SNL Weekend Update just one of the best parts of SNL, in my personal opinion. I'm joined tonight by the one, the only guest on the show, Damok. How you doing tonight, Damok?
Oh, man. I'm doing better than your butthole's going to be tomorrow when Cecil listens to that opener.
Yeah, maybe. I thought it was hilarious, but we're not going to get into...
I did too.
We're not going to get into it too much because, well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Sometimes I push the line. Sometimes I cross it. And, well, you know, we're not going to talk about it. Maybe one day, we'll release an episode. It's called B-Sides, because let's just face it, folks. My jokes are B-rated and they're just not that A-class. But moving on, folks, to what you actually can hear, what you actually, well, you can't taste because we haven't figured out a way to make that come through audio. And if you can taste something, I hate to break it to you, but you're licking your phone and you really need to stop. You're getting weird looks now, and I really think you need to stop. But let's go into what we're tasting tonight in a new segment called Out of Order, or more commonly known as the old segment, What Are You Drinking? So, Damok, what are you partaking in this evening?
Well, I'm glad that you asked. I have some Southern Tier Pumpkin Ale. And, it's getting close to October, so everybody's getting their Halloween shit out. And I love pumpkin pie. I love pumpkins in general. Like, fucking, I'll eat pumpkin seeds all goddamn day, every day. But Southern Tier really takes the crown when it comes to making a pumpkin ale. Overall, the taste is on point. It's like a liquid pumpkin pie. It's got the right spices, the right flavor, the right pumpkin taste. It does, it still has that beer type taste to it, but honestly, if you're a beer drinker, especially a craft beer drinker, you're going to take one sip and go, fuck me, this is liquid pumpkin pie. This shit is great. It doesn't have the, when you mix a whipped cream with the pumpkin pie, you don't get that really sweet taste. You get more of I just like eating plain pumpkin pie. I'm not a big whipped cream fan in general, unless we're talking about Varsity Blues, man. If that girl came out in a whipped cream bikini, I couldn't say no either, but that's the only time that I'm really going to like whipped cream. But, overall, if you like a good pumpkin ale, I highly suggest Southern Tier's Pumpkin. Like Pumpking, Pumpkin. How about you, Blue? What are you drinking?
Well, let's see, what was it? It was a couple weeks ago. I wanted beer. Actually, no, I think it was last weekend. Yeah, we went down to St. Augustine and hung around there and just kind of enjoyed the fact that it was overcast and relatively cool. And by relatively cool, ladies and gentlemen, I mean that it's not 90 degrees, it's 80 degrees. And that is a big difference, especially when the sun's not shining. Because, let's face it, and when the sun's shining, it's hot and it's humid. But so we walked around, and we went to a restaurant. They had our university's game up on the screen, and I've been watching it, and we finished eating, and Brittany's like, yeah, let's watch more of it. So I was like, okay. So I told the waiter, I'll have a beer. So I ordered a Blue Moon. First beer I've had in a long time. Haven't been drinking beer lately. And so I've been kind of having an itch for beer. And this is my third one this week. I'm enjoying Bold City Brewery's Duke's Brown Ale. It's light in ABV. It's not very bitter. As a brown ale, I'd have to say if you like something darker, but don't like, because sometimes stouts can be bitter. What did I have? Coconut stout. We stopped in another place and I got another drink. Oddly enough, a coffee shop. They sold beer, so I ordered a coconut stout from Ancient City. It was very bitter, and I drank that thing as fast as I could because the warmer it gets, the harder it is to drink when it's bitter like that. So the Duke's Brown Ale is very good in between a lager and a stout. Stout's very bold, very dark and rich in flavor, and an ale's a little bit heavier. Than a Pilsner. But the brown ale kind of spans that difference between the two, if you ask me. So it has the darker side, so it's got a little more flavor to it, like a stout would, but it also brings in the lighter flavor taste of the lager and just meets in a nice happy medium. There are some brown ales that I'm sure aren't great as far as taste. They're kind of bitter. But I'd have to say this is pretty good. These are cans, not bottles, and I've had these for probably 7 months. And they're holding up well. I didn't refrigerate them or anything. They don't taste skunky, so that's why I like cans. And it still tastes nice and smooth. And it's very good. Newcastle does a brown ale. So if you like
Newcastle's brown ale is really good. I used to drink that a lot.
Yeah, so if you like that, I would say if you ever see Bold City Brewery And you see Dukes. It's got a picture of what is he? I always forget what kind of dog this is. Boxer. You see a picture of a boxer on the can.
Well, show me the can, man.
Okay.
We have a video right here. Like, shit.
Yeah. I can. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take this can out of this Yeti thing. It's helping keep it cold on my desk because I don't have a mini fridge up here. And I'm going to turn this and raise this towards the camera so Damok can see what's on the can. So please enjoy this moment of... Well, you're really not going to enjoy this moment very well because this is audio. I'm now showing Damok the can.
Ooh, wow. That is definitely a dog. But I don't know my dogs because I'm a cat dude. So, yeah.
It's a boxer.
I know what a boxer is. It's interesting, though. It's a boxer without snipped ears. And I always see a lot of boxers with snipped ears.
I don't know why people do that.
I don't know either. I don't understand it. I don't fuck with the animals, man. The animal's a goddamn animal. It came with tail. It came with fucking ears. Why fuck with it?
Yeah, I mean, like, I understand, like, there's sled dogs I've seen that they clip the dew claw. It's the one that's up higher on their leg. And they clip it because usually it gets infected and it causes problems for the animal. And so they clip it when the puppy's born, so it's not painful to the dog that much. And it's a quality of life thing for them. But if boxers are getting their ears clipped for a reason, then I'm sure,
Yeah,
but if it's something like cosmetic, like people snip tails for the dumbest reasons, like, oh, I like short tails. No.
Yeah, I've heard that snipping the tail doesn't hurt. I don't know. I've never actually looked it up. I know that snipping the ears is also another thing that is supposedly not supposed to hurt. So I have the 4 cats, and one of them has one snipped ear because he was a feral cat, and all the cats that get trapped in feral traps here, they snip one ear. So he's got a clipped ear. It doesn't seem to bother him much. You can still rub that ear, and he just purrs, but he's such a fucking lovey cat, dude. He was never feral. That was such bullshit. Dude, that cat loves people. Don't give a fuck. Loves people.
Well, that's good. So let's move into our next segment, ladies and gentlemen. It's called State of Games, where we talk about games that we've been playing.
And Blue's going to disappoint us.
We can pontificate.
Here we go. He's going to pontificate. I still have no idea what the fuck the word pontificate means, but here we go. Blue's going to pontificate about games because I played one phone game for about 9 minutes when I was taking a shit the other day, and I caught one Pokemon, man. That's it.
Yeah. Is that what you did, or are you making fun of me?
No, that's you.
Oh, that's me? It's you. Okay, all right. Well, I'm going to put you to shame because guess what? I did that plus more. So, but just to increase your level of knowledge. So this is according to the Oxford Dictionary. Pontificate is a verb. It is express one's opinions in a way considered annoyingly pompous and dogmatic.
Wait, so that's how I talk in general?
Yes. It's the reason why Cecil likes that word so much, because it's a little tongue-in-cheek. Like, if you know what pontificate means, then you laugh. See, this goes right back to Norm Macdonald. This is kind of like his jokes. Like, if you know this stuff, like you like watch Weekend Update, and he keeps bringing up O.J. Simpson over and over and over again. And like he's making jokes like murder's now legal, like that's one of the jokes, and stuff like that. And you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of funny and stuff. But what you don't get is that the guy who's the head of SNL was a fan of OJ's, and he told Norm, "Don't do that anymore." And Norm kept doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it over and over again until he got fired for it.
Okay.
So that is a little additional layer of humor to it, because he's like, yeah, I don't care. This is funny to me. Like, it's just like I'm poking you and I'm making silly jokes. So, you know, that's that little tongue-in-cheek stuff. So going back to this, I did more than sit on the John and catch a Pokemon. I also I tried getting my Xbox working. Had NAT problems, and by the time I got that all fixed, none of my friends were online Thursday night. So I was like, screw it. So, my buddy Ish plays Rainbow Six. I guess Rainbow Six Siege, to be exact. And I'm like, okay. And so I was like, let me put that on my Steam wish list, because he plays on PC. Because if that goes on sale and it goes for dirt cheap enough, I will buy it. So it went dirt cheap, I think, last week for $5. So I got it. I don't have all the little, I guess you can buy extra things and like unlock special characters. Yeah, and I don't know how much time I'm going to spend into this game. But I played about 45 minutes of that yesterday. It was kind of late by the time I got the Xbox working, and I had very little energy to deal with things. I'd have to say, for a game without a campaign, the tutorial is the hardest thing to find. It is a pain in the butt. Like, there's like, oh yeah, here's a scenario. That's great. Scenarios are cool. What the heck is this icon at the top of my HUD? What do I have to do to peek around a corner? Like, run me through the stupid, here, let's go through the killing house. And let's play, shoot the dummy. And here, we're going to teach you how to do this. I have no idea what the heck everything is. Like, oh yeah, there's my health bar. Here's my ammo. Here's my gun. Here's how to switch guns. Here's how to throw a flashbang. Here's how to put a droid down.
They ruined the game.
I'm like, this is so... It just really wasn't... It's just poorly laid out as a tutorial guide. Like, there really is no good tutorial in it. And if I was like first getting into this, one, that'd be a mistake to get in such a competitive based game. But two, it's like, come on. Like, you have to show me more of this. Because, like, I had options like get in and play with new people. And it's like, I don't want to get in and just play with new people. I want to know how everything works. I want to be able, like, to have, like, some sort of a competitive edge. So I'm kind of disappointed that they really don't have that. And I'm going to have to go search the internet to figure out what the heck these things are on the top of my HUD are and how the heck to peek around a corner. Because I was like, I go up to something and it's like, vault. I was like, wow, okay, so I know how to vault over something. But it's like, how do I peek? Oh, aim down sights? Nope, I'm not peeking around the corner. What do I need to do? And I was like, tired, so I really wasn't like giving it my all. I probably got to like aim down sights and then press like the side, like press like move left or right.
I believe it's Q and E. And Q and E are the lean.
Okay.
It is in other video games. I've played Rainbow Six Siege. I did not like it. I think that they've ruined the fucking Rainbow Six franchise. Thankfully, we have the redeeming quality of all of that by Door Kickers and Door Kickers 2, that it's not the exact same, but at least it brings back the single player and it brings back the strategic value of what the Rainbow Six games were always meant to be about, not the stupid, hey, this is just a multiplayer shooter game, and by the way, we're going to make it highly competitive, except that we're only going to make 2 guns be worth it, and it's going to be like this and like this and like this. Oh, and the maps are completely unbalanced, so yeah, good luck for competitive play.
Yeah, I never really got into the multiplayer aspects of it. I've played, I think it was Rogue Spear. I played like pieces of that on the N64. Maybe that wasn't Rogue Spear, but one of the Rainbow Six games.
I think it was Rogue Spear that was on 64.
And I played a little bit of that. Actually, I think it's just called Rainbow Six. Yeah, it's just called Rainbow Six. And it's only $30. Oh, boy. But yeah, so Red Storm when they made that one. I played a little bit of it. Don't remember a whole heck of a lot of it. Remember it being a little challenging. And then I played a version on a phone before. Literally, it's like top view. Well, I was like phone. I got money for a game, and this was back when this wasn't like a smartphone. This was a flip phone I played this on. And so you only had like limited view. So you would like go into a spot and it's like, oh crap, there are people ahead. Or if you turned the corner and someone was patrolling, you'd be like, screwed most likely. But, this is my third, entrance into the gaming side of Rainbow Six. I enjoyed the book. But yeah, I was a little more excited about Rainbow Six Patriots, the game that never became developed, had that really cool trailer in the beginning. Like, I was looking forward to that. But alas, it turned into Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, because the no single player, multiplayer only, first person shooter games really took off when Call of Duty did it, and they were like, look, people are still stupid enough to buy this game for full price. We didn't even bother putting single player in it, and everybody else followed suit like, fuck yeah, dude, this is great. And now everybody's back to mostly buying a whole bunch of single player only games. The trend is the Steam trend is very interesting to look at the charts. People have gone back to wanting single player more than multiplayer because they already have I play this one multiplayer game and that's fucking it. I'm tired of playing with other people. I hate humanity.
Yeah, and if you also look at it, like, why play a whole bunch of different multiplayer games? Why? Just you get something. It's those guys who are like already like within the first week already like on second or third prestige, because that's all they play. That's all they do, and that's what they enjoy. And so they're not going to go pick up another multiplayer game and go play that, really, unless there's something super compelling for them to get into it. Like maybe Destiny scratches that itch, and there's your single player or multiplayer campaign right there, and then it scratches that Halo itch, Halo-esque itch, in the multiplayer arena. But I never really wanted to buy any of the Call of Duty games that had just multiplayer. The only reason why I have them is because my game sharing with someone else.
Ooh, you can't say that out loud, man. You gotta keep your mouth shut.
I play on PlayStation, by the way, folks.
Yeah, apparently he says PlayStation now. He's like, yo, I was trying to fix my Xbox earlier. Shit.
I know. That's what it is.
Oh, so did you play any other games? I did see your tag come up say you played Rainbow Six Siege, and I was like, that must be like Brit Shark, because Blue Shark doesn't play those fucking games. So I was like, it's totally her rocking the fucking sauce, baby.
Yeah.
I could see her just screaming, get some, just throwing a fucking grenade around the corner and be like,
man. No, her interest is, I think I got her into Mickey's Epic Adventure. The second one. The one with the, you go black and white, and then you go like modern. I forget what the whole premise was. I got her into that, and then you play as like the rabbit dude and Mickey, and then I got her into Overcooked.
Oh, dude, I can't play Overcooked. That game,
it's hilarious.
My anxiety just shoots to the roof, and I get so stressed out and upset.
Same here. And it's fun to hear your well, she was my girlfriend at the time. Hear her just shouting at me, get the F, or she's like, stop washing my dishes, get the F out of my kitchen.
Nice.
Because
Very nice.
I wasn't following her plan. But yeah, so video gaming isn't like her strong suit. Like I bought an Aladdin, Lion King dual game on the Switch, and she liked playing that. But yeah, that's the extent of her gaming.
I gotta say, Selkie likes playing video games, but she's not a big hardcore gamer. I am super fucking proud of her, but I gotta keep my mouth shut, right? I'm super proud. She finished Resident Evil Village finally the other day. Like, full on.
Nice.
She struggled with it off and on for months, and like since it came out, she's been playing it, and she just finally finished it. Now, granted, she doesn't get all the time in the world to play video games, but every once in a while she gets that hair up her ass and is like, I'm gonna sit down and play fucking video games, and she does. And yeah, she finally finished Resident Evil Village, and now I can talk about the ending because I've known for months, but it's pretty awesome, dude. I'm super fucking proud of her.
Good. All right, so what about you? What did you
Cookie Clicker and Cookie Clicker and more Cookie Clicker, because Cecil showed me that it's $4.99 on Steam, and I was like, oh fuck, dude, do you see this messy fucking hair? Do you see like the facial hair that's all overgrown and untrimmed? You see the bags under my eye because I have to make sure I click all the fucking cookies all the time to make sure I raise my goddamn prestige level to get better and do the top, or I cheat and use an auto clicker because I just like seeing numbers get bigger for some reason. I'm kind of weird, but yeah. No, seriously, aside from Cookie Clicker, because I actually have been letting that run almost 24/7 since it came out on Steam. I've been playing, as it came out, Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, and it is I want to say sequel, but it's not a sequel. It's the second game by Owlcat Studios, and it follows Owlcat Studios' first game, which was Pathfinder Kingmaker. It is, if you don't know, there's a difference between Pathfinder and Dungeons and Dragons, and oh my god, there's so many other variations of those, but D&D went from like edition 3 to edition 4, and everybody hated edition 4, so this new company that was already making books for Dungeons and Dragons, they came out and launched their own game, which was Pathfinder, and it's quote-unquote 3.5 because it's still 3rd edition with some extra upgrades here and there, and the company did it. Anyways, now there's Pathfinder 2.0 because, whatever. Pathfinder Kingmaker came out a couple years ago, and it follows the Pathfinder rulebook, and it's pretty much they adapted a one-off story. Like a one-off campaign, which is a pretty long campaign. I think it took me 162-ish hours to beat, and that was kind of like rushing through it, not even getting all the backstory. That was really good. Owlcat just launched Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. I'm 55 hours deep, and I've had to change my character 3 times now because I want to do the right thing, and I did not realize that they had added in an ability to become a lich, so now I'm playing a lawful evil character just rampaging through stuff so I can become a fucking undead, unkillable lich god. I'm getting really excited about that. So I'm on my 3rd character, and I have only just broken into chapter 2. I think there's 4 chapters. Is there maybe 5 chapters? I don't know, but I'm Steam says I'm 54.5 hours into the game. I'm 55 hours in this game. Like, oh, it's so good. If you like tabletop role-playing games, right? If you like playing D&D with your friends, but you can't get a group of friends to consistently get together and do it, which I have that problem because I have, family obligations and all of that. I don't always get to join everybody's group as much as I truly enjoy playing the games. But if you like Pathfinder and you liked that experience, now you get to take control of the entire party, and they have the entire turn-based system built into it, and you can turn it off because you can play real time with pause, or you can play play absolute turn-based without having to get a mod like you had to do with Kingmaker. And you play turn-based. I mean, technically, overall, the entire game is turn-based. You just, when you're doing live action with pause, you don't see it as much. It's just a much smoother transaction. But man, if you are a D&D fan or Pathfinder fan, and you want to get just fucking balls deep in that lore and really enjoy the game and all the hidden effects that are straight from the campaigns that they released, I cannot recommend it harder, dude. Like, I'll tell you what, you fucking email the G.N.A. Podcast at the end of this fucking episode or whenever the fuck you hear and be like, hey man, Damok, I want to play. I'll buy you a copy of the game. I'm going to need you to know your fucking Steam name. I love it so much, dude. I know it's a brand new game. I know it's like $60 and all of that. Not a problem. Not a fucking problem. It's such a good game. Everybody should be playing it. If you like tabletop RPGs and adapted for the video game, so I get to sit down at home and play it. And it's like, yeah. Do I miss going over to God's house? Do I miss going over to Cecil's house and actually rolling the dice? Yes. But this game makes up for a lot of it. So that is what I've been doing. It's only been out for like a week, and I'm 55 hours into it, including, I still have 40-hour work weeks. I spend my spare time.
Impressive. Have you ever... I think I may have gotten one of them for free, but did you ever play things like... I want to say it was it Warhammer, or was it... Yeah, it was Warhammer, like Vermintide.
Oh yes, I have played Vermintide.
Okay.
Yep, all the way through. Enjoyed the shit out of it. They're really good games. I thought Vermintide at first was a little slow going, and it had some issues, but I got over it, and I really enjoyed it, and I played that one, I believe, to completion. I'll have to go back and actually check. And then I've tried to play the Warhammer Total War games. Man, I love the original Total War games when they came out, and I played the crap out of them. But now, trying to play those, holy crap, dude, there's so much more to learn, and I'm so far behind. And I'm like, I was trying to play with my cousin's husband. I don't know how you say that in terms of family relation. Yeah, cousin's husband. Fuck it.
Who happens to also be your cousin because he's married to your cousin.
Cousin-in-law?
I think they're just called... I mean, maybe. I've always referred to my cousin's husband as my cousin. Yeah.
So my cousin's husband, dude is cool as fuck. Really enjoy playing, just talking video games with him in general and talking art in general. But yeah, I need to actually get in and play that game. We were going to sit down and play it together, and it just kind of... Life's kind of a bitch sometimes, man. We live on opposite ends of the United States, so... fun. But I've wanted to play those games as well. I know you can do turn-based and take a really long, detailed look, but it's still not the same as when you're playing Pathfinder. It's still very much a dice-based game. It's just virtual dice, and you can check all the numbers. Like, everything from Pathfinder has been completely converted over into a wondrous game. And if you played Kingmaker when it came out, I'm sorry. I'm the idiot who spent all that extra money and bought that Ultra Deluxe Edition for myself. I bought the Ultra Deluxe Edition for God, because God loves tabletop and he loves Pathfinder. And the first year that it was out, it needed major patches to be even remotely playable. But yeah, I'm playing the new one, Wrath of the Righteous. Alcat has learned everything that they've done from Pathfinder. Yes, they're still releasing patches every couple days, but it's more minor fixes. And the game has been completely playable for me across the board. But I've only scratched Chapter 2 because I didn't like playing an Inquisitor. And then I wanted to play a Sorcerer who's going to turn into a Lich. But then I wanted to get into a Trickster just so I could play around. And Yeah, I'm one of those people. I'm going to have 400 different games going.
Man, I can never do that. I just like story so much that I have to burn through it. I don't spend a lot of time running through. I think my first playthrough of Assassin's Creed, I was blowing through it. The first time I ever played an Assassin's Creed game. The later playthroughs of Assassin's Creed, man, I spent so much time like side missions, and there's like leveling, getting more power, because it's just like, yeah, it's just going to make everything easier later. So it's like, you know, that whole thing where it's like you show up and the boss is like a lion and you're a giant T-Rex kind of like analogy. But story to me is just that's if it's good, if I really like it, which I think of most games, like that's what compels me to blow through and like skip like finding the items and stuff, is the story. Most games have been like that for me. It's gameplay. I haven't really been like, oh man, I'm going to restart this over and do something different. Like, never crosses my mind. I'm like the opposite of you. I have to know the ending. I have to know the next part, the next chapter. In a good game, at least.
Yeah. Then if you have the actual time to sit down and do it, even if you do the pre-built or you use a guide to build a character, if you are truly into very deep storyline and all of that and making choices that will affect things, try Pathfinder. But I'm telling you now, like, I'm 55 hours in the game, and I think there's 4 or 5 chapters, and I've only scratched chapter 2 a little bit. But that's my fault for remaking, like, you know, my third character, because I wanted to play a very specific way. Is if you don't know, when I play dice rolling games, I'm banned, kind of. Like, it's more like a soft ban from playing certain characters and classes, because when they say that I can make a Crusader, oh, my Crusader can do no wrong, because in the real Crusades, Crusaders could do whatever they wanted, and it was all blessed off by the priests and lore, whether or not a god really blesses it or not. Yeah. But anyways, the priests bless it, and therefore they could do no wrong in the eyes of their god. So if I have to torture somebody to get the information that I need so that I can go and save the children that are trapped in this well, then you know what? I'll break a couple fingers, and then I'll some lay on hands, and I'll fix your fingers, and then like you went through all that pain, now your fingers are fixed, and then I'll break them one by one again to make sure, and we can just keep going through this process until I get the information that I need. That's not smiled upon to be a lawfully good paladin. Yeah. But I can do that in fucking Pathfinder.
Very, very sneaky. All right. Well, let's move into some topics for this evening's show. So, The Matrix 4. Well, folks, I don't know about you, but I don't know many 4 movies that were really like great. I mean, Star Wars, but that's only because they started with 4. That was pretty darn good.
Good catch. Good fucking catch. Because I was going,
yeah.
What movie? Oh, no,
yeah,
good catch.
Yeah, New Hope. New Hope, it was a pretty good number 4 movie, but it was technically not a number 4 movie. It was the first. Anywho, so I have my hesitations and my reservations about this Matrix Resurrections. So I saw the trailer. Did you see the trailer, Damok?
Are you kidding me? Of course I've seen the fucking trailer. It's okay. The Matrix.
So this movie web article, they're talking like, we showed the film to Keanu, and he was really blown away by it. He said something that is typical Keanu, where it's incredibly insightful. Okay, that's great. I'm glad he likes his own work. I mean, I like my own work. You know, like if you've heard the joke is the cold open to this show, I don't think you'll appreciate that as fine art. So I'm a little skeptical about this. And the trailer to me looks a lot of like, hey, let's do the exact same thing again with a little few changes here and there. But maybe it's not the whole story. Maybe there's more to it, which
wait. Okay. So here's the big thing. You do understand that I fucking hate this. The first Matrix movie was absolutely phenomenal. Great movie. The second and third movies don't ever exist to me. I don't fucking talk about them.
They're garbage.
They don't exist. They're utter trash. And those brothers now turned sisters, whatever the fuck. Don't care. Don't like them. Those movies are shit. However, if you actually look at what is canon and what is not, everything Matrix related is 100% canon. So movie 1, 2, and 3. Then after 3 was that Matrix Online. Everything in the Matrix Online is canon. After that, there was the other Matrix video game and all of that. That storyline is canon. And it's Morpheus rebuilding Neo and all of that and coming back. And so then it goes to the Matrix 4. Everything that has happened in all of the video games after the movies is 100% canon. And this is... it's going to be interesting because it looks like they have succeeded in bringing Neo back after his ultimate sacrifice and everything like that. And that's why the trailer looks a little wonky. It almost looks like a total reboot of The Matrix, honestly. And that's because it is. And they are rebooting The Matrix because they brought Neo back. Because he made the ultimate sacrifice, he did the whole fucking thing, shattered the Matrix, fixed the Matrix, where the fuck it was, and now you will see the machines working with humans, blah blah blah, like you did in the video game type era. But yeah, all of the video game era is 100% canon, and the movie takes place after all of that. So if you're not tracking, you can ignore movie 2 and 3 because honestly they're worthless and the plot lines were just utter shit to begin with, but then follow along with the plot lines of what the video games were, and then you can get yourself to Matrix 4 and be like, oh, so it is a fucking reboot, but not a complete reboot entirely. Like, you'll notice that certain key actors are not there. Actresses and actors are not there because, technically they died off years ago. It's supposed to be set... Ooh, it's so many years after Neo's sacrifice. But it's going to be interesting. But if you don't know the video game canon, brush up on that. And I'm sure there's a Wikipedia article out there or somebody's written a really good, hey, blah, blah, blah. But the video games are canon for the Matrix 4 movie, which I thought was awesome. Pain in the ass because the video games were shit. Right? The Matrix Online was trash. I don't know. I didn't even play the other Matrix game, but I've never heard any good things about it. The video games were trash. However, they stayed true to what they were saying and they made them fucking canon. And for that, I gotta give them some credit.
Yeah, it's good. Better than what Star Wars did.
Yeah, dude. George Lucas, you were a genius, dude. You fell off the fucking boat years ago.
Yeah.
20 plus years ago at this point. Shit.
Yeah, now there's like some high council book crap that I keep seeing getting promoted. But anywho, so my skepticism on this is that it's going to... this is what I don't like. I don't like rehashing and reusing predictable elements. So What was the first one of the sequels in Star Wars called? Force Awakens or something like that.
Wait, okay, so which version, like, are we talking the Holy Trinity? Are we talking the shit 1, 2, and 3? Or are we talking the literal reboot of the Holy Trinity that they somehow named 7, 8, 9, even though it's 4, 5, and 6 retold?
Yeah, that's what I don't like. That kind of stuff. I do not like them redoing that. Like, it's like, I've seen the movie before. You don't need to change the main character to a girl to sell this. Like, you had so much more material to work with. So it's like, oh, I guess he's Morpheus in the movie.
Nope.
He's not. They don't call him Morpheus in that. Okay. So that thing I read about in the video game means that, yeah, he probably is. I'm seeing articles. He looks a lot like Morpheus, but he's not. Interesting.
It's his son, man.
Wow, fancy. So we're really far. So I think that if this is going to be a complete redo of Matrix, no, not a good movie. Like, I don't need you to retell me the thing with, like, that's if they're going to do that. That's what they're going to do. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of paying to see the same movie that I saw back in 1999. Like, I don't need to see the 1990 movie shot with newer equipment, with better graphics, with newer CGI stuff. Like, I don't want to see that again. If it's continuation of the story and builds upon that and makes something better, all for that. But the way a lot of this stuff is gone with this stuff, I really feel like they've done like, hey, we've done this idea before, let's do it again. I'm gonna
have a fucking aneurysm with the way that you're talking about this movie, man. Like, and I'm gonna tell you, I only like the first Matrix movie. Everything else about the Matrix can fuck itself. It's all trash across the board.
Yeah, okay, I understand.
So, but what's the greatest part about the fucking Matrix? It's a computer program. Of course they're going to literally reboot it entirely. It's going to be different, right? It is going to be different. Because it's not going to be the first movie remade from scratch, but it is going. They're recreating Neo and then going from there, and whether or not he's going to have the memories and this and that, we don't know until the movie comes out. But it's the perfect movie that can hit the reset button and literally remake the first movie, but still include all of the past into it, because it's the one of the only movie. I don't want to say the only movie, but one of the only movies that it's okay, that makes sense, that's canon, that's storyline. You're still going to see a continuation of things because now Neo comes back, and can they do a couple more movies? And plus, I say brothers, but they're sisters now, and that gets, who's on first? I don't fucking know anymore. But Blue looked like completely like, who's on first? You don't know that, like, old ass Albert and Castillo? Whatever the fuck, the who's on first thing?
No.
It's like, who's on first? Who? No, I was asking you, like, the person that's on first, his name is who, and like, anyways, I'd have to look it up to explain it better, but it's okay. A fucking great joke, dude. Yeah, it's too political for me to really get. Yeah, it's too political for me to actually get into on the show. But it's a great, because it's a metaphor for the trans thing, and but overall, right? It's not, because the joke came out way before, but it can be used anyway. So
Monty Python's got a few of those anti-trans jokes.
Yeah,
or jokes that poke fun of trans stuff, which is hilarious.
Yeah, this one doesn't poke fun at trans, but it can be used to poke fun at trans in a way. Anyways, so the Matrix, literally a computer program, literally can be rebooted every time Neo wins, because we find out in all the movies that Neo is always respawns. It's always a different person, but they always do that, and he gets it, and then it resets, and the Matrix just keeps going and going and going. And then the last time he made the ultimate sacrifice and he broke the Matrix, or where the fuck he actually did to it, and now they're trying to bring him back because he did not respawn because he did that ultimate fucking Kamehameha move. And I don't like anything but the first Matrix movie. I'm excited for the Matrix 4 because it's going to be the first Matrix, but it's going to have all that history and backstory into it, and that's going to make me happy because the first Matrix movie is the only fucking decent Matrix movie, and the video games can fucking suck my dick. They're terrible. Anyways,
that's fine if it builds. That's okay, but if it's pretty much just like a 1-to-1 exact remaking of the 1990 movie,
no. The trailer shows you it's not that.
Yeah, which it doesn't seem like it is. But that's my biggest pet peeve, and that's always my biggest worry, is when they do stuff like that. I mean, they're learning about themselves again, except Trinity also doesn't know her past. It's like, okay, fine, that's cool.
Yeah, but
if they throw Hugo Weaving into it, then sure, I think that would be great. I think it's gonna be a great movie because Hugo Weaving really made The Matrix.
I can give you that. I'm sure. If that's how you feel.
You gotta love the villain. He's a really good villain.
Yeah. I didn't see him as a villain, but okay. I'll give you that.
You don't think Smith's a villain?
No. Not at all. Smith is not the villain in any way, shape, or form.
So who do you think is the villain in The Matrix? Do you think it's the architect?
Neo. Neo's the villain.
Neo's the villain in The Matrix.
Neo is the glitch in The Matrix. Everything else about The Matrix is programmed to do as it is supposed to do. So Smith is, yes, while he is, we have to go after Neo and all of that, he's literally a scripted fucking bot that is doing what he is supposed to do. The architect of the Matrix made the Matrix because humanity kind of screwed itself. Let's go ahead and nuke the skies, guys, because that's how we're going to shut them down from solar power. And so then the robots create this whole thing. Neo is the glitch in the Matrix. So it's like, technically Neo is the bad guy who's bringing everything down, and if he does completely destroy the Matrix, what are humans going to wake up to? A world that they can't live and breathe in because it's been nuked to nothingness? So now you're going to bring all these people out and they're going to live in this is the great part, they're going to live in the center of the earth because it's hollow earth theory all over again, right? Because they're super deep down and shit. I mean, Neo's the bad guy across the board.
Okay, so you never... I don't know if they covered this in the first movie. I don't know or not, but I know they covered it in the trilogy. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a sucker for knowing what happens next. That's why I've watched bad movies. So, the idea was to save people who could be saved, and people who have come so dependent upon the Matrix was to consider keeping them in the Matrix. They weren't thinking about saving all of humanity, because yes, you are right, it is a horribly tough time to survive outside of the Matrix given the current state of the world. But you have to understand is the Matrix is kind of like the element in A Brave New World, where everyone's drugged. It's all about your... I mean, the original creation that they talk about, the art talks about, the original creation of the Matrix, where you got everything you wanted and everything was perfect, was true Brave New World. This is Brave New World 2.0 with refinements, and let's make sure people don't reject it as much, was the idea. It's still a drug that's fed to everyone, and they're trying to save them from their own addiction to this machine. Humanity has jacked up the world, and this is also where he becomes it. And the Neo he's not portrayed as a villain. Like, hey, you have an interesting idea, like looking at it from the computer side, but that's not what they're getting at. They're getting at the humanity of it. He is Jesus Christ. He's the savior. He's the one who's come to save the people, to send the message. And the people who want the message will seek him out, will find him, like new recruits, people come in, bringing out, taking in the message. It's that Jesus Christ gospel message, kind of like story, is what they're kind of going with that with Neo. Smith is... See, the only thing that's different is Smith isn't necessarily Lucifer, because he's rebelling against the element that's holding together the Matrix, the architect, who created this system, and kind of the Oracle too. He's kind of more of a rogue. He's a roguish character. But he's got villainous intent because he keeps going after, the savior of the world.
He has to. It's his programming.
No, Smith. That's not his programming. Smith has gone rogue. Like I don't know what they touched in the video games, but they touched in 2 and 3. The reason why Neo is allowed to do what he's to stop Smith is because they can't control Smith. Smith went rogue because he had that interaction with Neo when he tried to take over his body in the 1999 version or movie. So Smith becomes he becomes kind of like what you're getting at with Neo, who's a corrupt, or he's a program that messes with the system. He becomes a corrupt program that messes with the system.
Okay, I can see him becoming a corrupted program, but he's still going off of his programming.
I mean, maybe it's intended for him to be altered, but he's not going off of the same agent programming like the other agents. The other agents go in and they're trying to stop the revolution. Smith becomes focused on killing the one. And maybe that, but I don't think that's really what the architect planned, because the architect didn't intend for Neo to not go through the door. He was supposed to go through the one doorway that was supposed to put the code back in. He was going to go back in the tube, and the end of what was the second Matrix? Wasn't Revolution.
They don't exist to me, but I'm looking it up.
Reloaded, that's what it was. Yeah. Matrix Reloaded. He was supposed to go through the one door. Instead, he goes to the other door to save Trinity. So he saves Trinity, and therefore he alters what the course is supposed to be. Smith is also, I mean, maybe that then further altered Smith, but but the thing is that it wasn't Smith who took captive Trinity per se. It was agents that dropped on her, and it was supposed to be this. So you have this hard decision. You must either choose between to save the love of your life or to follow through with what your programming is and to go through that door and reload the Matrix to bring the one back to the program. Smith had already gone off the reservation, which then makes Neo alter off the reservation. And this is kind of where I think, the Jesus allegory symbolism.
Yeah, it'd be an allegory.
Yeah, allegory. The Jesus allegory is modified a little bit from this. It's not a one-to-one thing. It becomes this idea. It kind of gets implanted where he goes off the reservation to not wanting to do that. He's going to do kind of like what Smith does, go against his programming. So you'd have two people who have essentially gone against what they're intended to do. Smith to stop rogue terrorists, are, the revolutionaries, and Neo, who are, Smith goes off of that reservation, and Neo goes off the reservation of reloading the Matrix.
Yeah, so I'm looking it up, and Smith's... the thing that they did with Smith is they humanized him throughout the movie.
Yes.
He started out as a rogue... Well, no, he started out as the actual program, and then now he's gone rogue, and he's against the Matrix in general, and he wants the Matrix to shut down entirely. So,
yes,
he doesn't want to be a part of it. He wants to be completely erased and forgotten about because he doesn't want to continue fighting Neo again and again and again and again.
He doesn't want to do this.
Time.
He doesn't want to do this war anymore. Like that monologue he had with Morpheus when they're interrogating him is, I can smell it, I can taste it.
Yeah. No, so I'm looking it up. He's just it's a nihilist machine.
Oh yeah,
that has gone
very much
sideways.
Nuke the entire planet to the point where it's nothing but dust.
Yeah, true story. So I don't know. I'm excited for the new movie. I hope it is a fucking reboot, quote unquote, of sorts. And that the Wachowski, only one of them's doing it. I don't know what he renamed himself to. I know they were the brothers. I know they're now the sisters. For whatever the fuck that is all worth. I know one of the sisters is out. And only the other sister's fucking directing it and writing the story for it and blah blah. But supposedly both of them have approved it, and and then there's the whole
right. They were the Wachowskis, formerly known as the Wachowski Brothers, now Lana and Lily Wachowski. They changed their names.
Yeah, no, they went trans, dude. And then the big thing is, if you really want to get into, and we'll have to change this, you should join the G.N.A. Discord and jump into the political chat, because we can really get into this on the political chat. The Matrix was all about repression of their sexual identities and coming out and forward with everything. And then after the movies came out, they switched over to trans. We can do a whole thing in the political chat about that, because there's all kinds of evidence around that. Now, I don't know, because I've not analyzed it myself, and it's too much for this podcast, because we're here to get drunk and talk about video games and nerd shit for the most part. But yeah,
I will add this before we move on. Is that I don't like the way the internet's gone with this, because it's like you used. If I had looked up the Wachowski brothers, then it should have been like, oh yeah, the Wachowski Brothers, formerly known as such, now known as this, but instead it's like it's been completely erased. Like it's
they erase history.
Yeah, like it's for this little thing they erase history. But moving on, let's go into something that's it's a little more scientific. SpaceX Inspiration 4. It's an all civilian launch. So the Crew Dragon is set to send 4 everyday people into space from the Florida coast on Wednesday. So, if you're listening to this podcast, that was almost a week ago. I missed this. It was a milestone launch, and this is what CNET thinks could kick off the new era of space tourism. I think it could, and I personally think this is great. Like, I know the people. I thought it was hilarious when Jeff Bezos, the petition for Jeff Bezos to not be allowed to come back to Earth was hilarious. That's just so funny. Like, yeah, let's not let Jeff Bezos come back to Earth. It's like, yeah, I just thought that was funny. I really don't have anything against Jeff Bezos. I mean, the man's extremely successful. And he made a lot of money, from turning his garage book selling online company into what Amazon is today. So him going into space was great. Now this whole thing with sending an all civilian crew, just like in the sense that I don't think the other guys who went up last summer, I don't think they were military. I think they were considered civilian, because NASA. So just to give you an idea, the space exploration concept was originally done through the military and then transferred over to the civilian agency known as NASA that was created by John F. Kennedy. So everyone who's gone into space is essentially civilian. They might be called Captain this or something like that, but merchant marines, if you ask me, in World War II, as great as they were and as much sacrifice and blood and sweat and lives that they put on the line and lost in World War II, they were civilians. They were not military. They were a Union Navy, essentially. But anywho, moving on. But this launch with Inspiration 4 is great because I bet you anything, if you had asked the Wright brothers, could you fly me here? They would have charged you an arm and a leg back then. And you're thinking, well, that was only 5 cents. 5 cents was roughly an arm and a leg. It was probably not 5 cents. They probably would have charged you like $5. And that would have been like an arm and a leg to you at that time. Nowadays, you can go flying. I mean, heck, during COVID pandemics, you could fly to a lot of places. If you were flying out of the right city, you could fly overseas for dirt cheap. But now that they've actually put civilians into space, this is great because the more that goes into this, the sooner we could be seeing people like us, like Damok. Well, I don't know about Damok.
Fuck you, dude. The second they say that I can raffle it off, roll it up, dude. I think honestly, shit. I'm showing up with trucks, explosives, guns. I'm getting on that goddamn flight. Get me the fuck off this planet.
I think Damok makes just a little too much money. I think he's just a little too high class for some of us. So I think like the more the plebes will eventually be able to go into space. So this is great. I think it's perfect for them. So hot on the rocket fueled heels of the billionaire space race for everyday people are ready to make space history when they strapped into SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule to go for a 3-day joyride around our planet. And this is just around the planet. So they have not gone off. I mean, they're, off world.
No, dude, have you seen the adjustments? Have you seen the adjustments to this plane yet?
The adjustments to... No.
This was supposed to be a 15 minutes in space and return to Earth. Then got adjusted to you're going to transverse the Earth in a 3-day space flight. Like, you're literally going to go around the globe. I don't know if it's once, twice, 100 times, whatever the fuck they're doing, but they will be there. Now, if you really look at it, Jeff Bezos never actually went to space, and neither did any of the people with him. They did not breach far enough in to actually consider it space. They were still upper atmosphere, and then they came right back down. And yes, they were fucking ridiculously high up, and it was a big deal, but they are not astronauts. One, because they didn't do it through NASA. And NASA says to be an astronaut, you have to go through NASA. Even cosmonauts have to go through the Russian Federation, and then you have the European Space Agency, you have the Indian Space Agency. I don't know what India's space agency is called. I do know they're working on their big stuff, and even then it all has to be government sponsored entirely. Not this. SpaceX is launching it, and I believe they are launching properly through NASA. So these four, and I'm going to use quotation marks for the people listening, these four everyday people, millionaires and billionaires, yes, they will be official astronauts, and they will transverse through, I believe, a little bit higher than just the upper atmosphere, and then come back down, and it's going to be fucking phenomenal.
All right, so Bezos. So here we go. You have Earth, boys and girls, and Earth is a planet with water and land
and Damoks. It has lots of Damoks.
No, there's only one. So above the surface of the Earth is called the Trophosphere, and then we have that thing that everyone was afraid of in the 90s, and before that, having a hole in it. It's called the ozone layer. That's over that. Then you get into the stratosphere. Then you get to the mesosphere. So in the mesosphere is right above the stratosphere. That's kind of where like you get the northern lights, aurora borealis kind of stuff. I think you'll see meteors. They'll pass through there. Bezos went above mesosphere to the Kármán line. So this is just to the edge of space. And then you get above that where we put satellites. That's the thermosphere. When you have exobase, and then you have the exosphere. So that's Bezos was just on the edge of space, just at the edge of it. Where did they go for this flight? I'm trying to remember. So it's a 3-day joyride. Oh, by the way, it doubles as a fundraiser for St. Jude's Hospital. That's good news.
Dude, yeah, right. So I understand that there's a billionaire on there and all of that, and he's the one funding it, but I do believe there was a shit ton of fucking donations, and it's for a really great cause. And, you know, I don't know how much money was actually donated, but I'm sure it wasn't just a drop in the bucket like, oh, here's $10 million. It was probably a couple $100 million.
Oh, yeah. Estimated journey around. So they went around the Earth orbit. Blah blah blah. They launched from, of course, Florida. So they're probably launching from Canaveral.
I'm trying to look it up myself.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing exactly where it's gonna go.
Just going around the Earth. I wouldn't imagine they would want to go too high. Went high. Let's see what the internet said. So they went 366 miles. Which is more than 100 miles higher than the International Space Station. They are farther from the planet than most astronauts who have gone into space since the end of NASA's Apollo program in the 1970s. No, the Apollo missions went outside. That's not right. New York Times.
But the Apollo missions were very scarce.
Mercury. They're saying, and are farther from the planet than most astronauts who've gone to space since the end of the Apollo program. The Apollo program took them to the moon, orbited the moon. Some landed on the moon. I think Mercury was the only one that orbited the planet. Maybe I'm wrong. Huh. That's weird. Well, that's pretty high, nonetheless. Which means, so if they're 366 miles, how high?
Yeah, dude, I've been looking up. So they went how high? Because I can tell you that
366 miles.
Okay. So Jeff Bezos' rocket detached at an altitude of 47 miles, and it passed the 62-mile boundary and then came back to Earth.
High is the... Yeah, so they went higher than Bezos, but I want to know... Let's see... So they were almost to the... So the thermosphere starts just above the mesosphere and extends to 372 miles high. So, yeah, they were above the thermosphere. They were still not into the exosphere. But they weren't...
So Bezos only went 62 miles. That's it.
Yep, he was, and that's that Kármán line. It's pretty low. So here you go. 0 miles. Trophosphere, stratosphere is a little below 50, mesosphere, and so the mesosphere just above that's the Kármán line. It's around 62. Then you have 100 miles, and then you hit the Aurora Borealis is around 150 miles, and it goes up towards to 200 miles. Then at about 250 miles, you hit the thermosphere, and then 300 miles, you'll hit the limits of where satellites are at. I don't know where the space station's currently at, but they said they were 100 miles higher than the space station. But yeah, that's pretty high. I mean, that's definitely a really big milestone. So again, I'm excited because this means that eventually we could have people going to the moon for a trip. Like, this could be perfect because, that's what happened in Gundam Wing. Wow, that is a great segue into the fact that there is a new Gundam anime series called The Witch from Mercury to debut in 2022.
Oh, just like, God, it's, dude, the ISS, it's a little more than 200 miles above the Earth.
Okay, so yeah, they were definitely over 100 miles higher than that thing. But anyway, so there's a new Gundam anime series titled The Witch from Mercury. I really don't know much about this thing just yet, but this is coming from Bandai, and it's the what is this? This is the first one that they've had come out since they had Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans, which came out in 2015. I still haven't finished watching that. It's a lot darker. I will admit, I thought Heroes, I'll Kill You. Sorry.
Damn, dude.
No.
It was right at the camera. You looked right at the camera. It was like Heroes, and you're like, I'll kill you. And I was like, dude, I was just shaking my head. Like, I don't like Gundam.
Well, I mean, he didn't do the like facial. He was just more like, I'll kill you. But like,
I thought you were mad at me because I was shaking my head like, ugh, Gundam.
And the TV edited version, it's I'll destroy you. But it's originally, the original translation is I'll kill you. In the unfiltered English dub, it's I'll kill you. Was kind of like edgy. But I watched in Iron-Blooded Orphans, I watched a little kid literally like kill someone. They had captured these adults and they shot a guy. He shot the guy like multiple times. They pretty much walked in the room and says, hey, you can either surrender to us and go in peace or consequences. And one of the guys was like, yeah, screw you, man. And the older kid kicked him down, and the little kid pulled out a gun and like shot him once, and then shot him like multiple times after. So he didn't like get like a killing shot, and then he was just like, it was kind of like, and he did it so like emotionless. Just like a child soldier from the plains of Africa. Just executed him without any remorse.
See, I like giant robots. I like all the aspects behind what should be my love for anything anime giant robots, but I fucking hate anime giant robots. I have this like unfeathered, seething anger towards them, and it's irrational entirely. I can't watch those. I know it is. I know because fuck, dude. Like, I like giant robot movies, but as soon as they turn into that anime stuff, I really just like, nope, I can't watch this. I fucking hate it, and I like just, I don't know, dude. Something's loose in my brain that doesn't allow me to enjoy all of that.
Ladies and gentlemen, our veterans every day are discovering new injuries. Will you please help them?
Dude, you say that, and here I am wearing a Keep Moving Forward shirt, man. Like, this is for veteran suicide awareness, man. If you need somebody to fucking call, hit the G.N.A. fucking email, man, and just be like, yo, I need to talk to Damok. I spent my time in the military. Let's talk, man. I'd rather talk to you and have a good goddamn time and bullshit. Maybe we could get together for drinks.
Do you by any chance have that? Do you have like a phone number that they could call?
I mean, I can give you the veteran suicide hotline, but yeah. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. I gotta look it up real quick.
Yeah, because that's something that we should put out there, I think. But Damok needs more than that. He needs help. No. Because Damok doesn't like giant anime robots.
I know.
This is payback for my garbage talk about the Matrix 4 and my skepticism, isn't it? Is that what it is?
Yeah, no, like, I don't like anime. However, on the serious note, 1-800-273-8255 and press 1. You can even fucking text them at 838-255. Just text that number and all that good shit. That is the veteran crisis hotline and all that shit, man. But if you just want to bullshit with some veterans, there's plenty of us in the G.N.A. Discord. I say plenty of us. There's a few of us, but we're all disgruntled as fuck, and we're big time whiskey drinkers because, you know, what the fuck else you gonna do? The VA ain't gonna fix me. Oh, Motrin and water, motherfucker. You know, it's gonna be Motrin and fucking goddamn 18-year-old fucking scotch, and we'll go from there. At least that makes me feel a little bit better. But yeah, to get back on subject, I don't like Gundam. And it's not that it's bad, because I know it's really good. I just can't. Like, maybe it's the anime characters are always pompous assholes, and then it's that one dude's like, no, guys, I'm just this loner who wants to help out and do it. And like, yeah, no, I can't get behind your story. Just be a pompous asshole as well. Either you're going to be the greatest or you're not going to be the greatest. I don't want to watch I'm the up-and-coming guy, and I'm going to change how everybody sees fucking space robot fights because I'm going to be the gentleman. Nah, dude, I want to see that pompous asshole be a pompous asshole and come up and just be the best at something. And Gundam gets kind of weird because they throw in weird stuff, and I really, really, really should absolutely fucking love the genre of anime mecha robot bullshit, because I would kill for a good Mech Warrior game. I can watch. I know this is a horrible. I should be fucking taken out back and shot. I love Pacific Rim. And that's nothing but an adaptation of a fucking Japanese robot fucking anime to live action. And yet I can't watch the anime.
Well, so I think this is probably the reason why it doesn't appeal to you. I think that Gundam has the habit of appealing to the teenage angst. Minus Gundam, what's it called? So Gundam, Mobile Suit Gundam, the 08th MS team, that was a little more adult. And I really think they did something like, what's it called? I don't know. I just, one of those episodes, it just felt like Lord of the Flies. Like, it was a little weird. They're in the jungle. Like, this is like after the big event. It was like the last episode. And I was like, this is really weird. And it was like, there was so much like symbolism in there. It was like way too much for a kid to really understand and appreciate. And there was a lot more adult themes to it. But I feel like the rest of the Gundams kind of, they appeal to the younger audience. That might be why you don't like it.
You know, and I talk to a lot of people who recommend a lot of the stuff, and I think is it Neon Genesis Evangelion, whatever the fuck, also
but
has
that's completely different.
No, but it's still got the giant robot shit.
Yes.
Right? And I've heard, hey, that is a phenomenal show. And I'm like, okay. So I got my hands on some of the DVDs, and I was like, yes, I'm going to watch it. And I went, nah, dude, I'm halfway through the first episode, and like, I like to give things 3 episodes to hook me, because sometimes things take a couple episodes, like Ted Lasso. took me 2 episodes and I was like massively in love with that show. But you know, it took the 2 episodes. By the 3rd episode, I was hooked, man. I'm ready to marry that man. I don't care. Like, that shit was great. But yeah, I try to watch those anime shows with giant robots, and even the ones like, okay, so I'm not even gonna lie, right? I went to that comic book store and I picked up some comics, and I told them, you know, what I'm actually into, because I have no shame about it. I know what I like. I like ultra violent, ultra sexualized, let's just fucking go over the top and enjoy the living shit out of it, right? Those are the type of movies I watch. It's the type of fucking anime that I watch. You know, it's great. And I watch these robot ones and everybody's like, oh, dude, you totally like this shit. And it's so bad. I can't. My brain doesn't work.
It is a psychedelic trip. Since you like ultra violent and ultra sexualized, Witchblade. You haven't seen it?
Okay.
Watch
no,
Witchblade.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's it was a comic, or sorry, it was a manga. It's loosely based on the American comic book. So it's not really manga per se. But the story, lead character and blade wielder is Masa-ama, a kind-hearted, well-intentioned woman who is clumsy, awkward around the house, having lost her memory during the Great Quake which ravaged Tokyo. Masane was found uninjured at the quake's ground zero with a baby in her arms. 6 years later, she returns to Tokyo with the child, whom she believes is her daughter. Intending to live a peaceful life, she becomes entangled in a power struggle between a larger corporation and a government agency, and discovers a mysterious bracelet on her right wrist is the legendary Witchblade. The costume is skimpy as hell. There is evil women that are dressed in equally skimpy costumes, and there's a lot of violence. So
that sounds like the comic books that they recommended me, man. Like, I was like, yo, I want shit that's like ultra violent, and they gave me Vampirella and Red Sonja. And I'm like, yeah, they're supposed to be ultra violent and sexualized and all, and that's what I like. So I'm gonna check out Witchblade. I've already Googled it, so I can figure out, you know, where I can get a couple episodes to go from there.
Yeah, it was. It was on Hulu at one point, but I'll tell you what, man. Violence, I can only take so much of. If I have to go violent in an anime, Trinity Blood was good.
When it comes to violence overall, I think Elven Lude was really, really good to me. I really enjoyed that one. Have you seen that? They're the experiments or whatever, and I highly recommend Elven Lude. I stumbled upon it by accident way back when the DVDs were first coming out, and Fry's Electronics, because I lived in California, was, you know, the mecca hub of where you go for everything. And we went to Fry's, and I was like, yeah, dude, let's look at anime. And somebody's like, oh, this is really good and really violent. And I was like, oh yeah. And it's a cutesy little love story type thing, but she is absolutely a fucking irrational, psychopathic girl that has this invisible arm thing that can do horrible things, and it's great.
I'm going to send you something so that I can make sure that I'm doing this correctly, or that I'm looking at the right one. Put it in our recording chat. Is that it?
Yep, that is absolutely it right there.
And you pronounce
so Elven. I know it looks like Elven lied.
Yeah.
It's German. It's Elven Lude.
Gotcha. That makes more sense. I was like, it looks like Elven lied.
And I don't know why, because it's all like, it looks all Japanese and all of that, but it's very German.
Yeah, they liked messing with other languages and doing interesting things with it.
Well, I mean, Japan's pretty tied to Germany since World War II, but, you know, I'm just going to leave that alone.
But yeah, so so to just kind of wrap this whole Gundam thing up, yeah, The Witch of Mercury it's going to air on television, but I think they're hoping it's going to be appealing to a more younger audience, or to a younger audience. So I don't necessarily know if you guys who are listening to this show will enjoy this. I got into Gundam Wing. I love Gundam Wing. I enjoyed Endless Waltz, and that is only because I started watching it in middle school, so it appealed to me. And
is that like WWF?
Like you only get into WWF because you're a kid and you can't really get into it as an adult.
Right. And like as an
I
adult,
never really got into WWF. Because I think the reason why I probably never really got into WWF is because WWF is kind of like all MTV like reality shows. Like there's just
but it was before MTV reality shows.
Yes,
it was and WWF is absolutely a fucking soap opera and has always been. But as a kid, like everybody kind of got into it, and then if you didn't stick with it, you kind of went, well, wrestling's fake, and technically it's not fake. It's scripted. It's not fake.
Yeah, but in a sense, you know, it's a story.
I think it's fake as fuck, and I never really got into it after, like, you know, middle school, but yeah.
It's funny that you call it a soap opera, because I remember I talked trash about soap operas, and then my girlfriend in high school came up to me watching Naruto one day, and she said, "You do realize you're watching a soap opera?" And I looked at it, and I'm like, oh my God, you're right. Oh, well.
It doesn't matter. I watched, oh, God, here we go. Like, Inuyasha is a great anime to me.
Oh, yeah.
But I watched it, like, I watched it as an adult, too, and really got into it. When it was on Adult Swim, I used to have my TV set up so I could see it right here, and I'd be playing my video games. Shit, I think at the time I was playing Final Fantasy 11 online, I think was the big game. It was before World of Warcraft, and it would come on Adult Swim, and I would stop what I was doing and not even join parties, and just I would end up watching it, and I'm like, man. And then all you ever hear, every single Kagome Inuyasha, Kagome Inuyasha, and I was like, oh, such a horrible soap opera, but I loved it.
I'm going to confess something.
Your girlfriend was actually a boyfriend in high school?
Don't get me started.
He took off his glasses, ladies and gentlemen. he is thoroughly angry with Damok now. He is thoroughly angry.
Don't get me started on the subject matter of my high school girlfriend now coming out as non-binary. Moving on from that point, because I'm not going to get into it. You made me lose my dang train of thought. So high school,
can't stop fucking laughing.
I took AP literature, and I had to read a bunch of books. I wasn't a huge fan of a lot of them. They were good. Like, don't get me wrong. The Power and the Glory was a good book. I enjoyed that. Did I read I think I read Lord of the Flies in that one too. That I read that previously in Language and Comp. But I'd have to say the one that I enjoyed the most, just because it's just like, you ever watch something and you go like, oh, come on, like just like the tension's just there, and it's just like, come on, just let's get this like resolved, like just like, it's just like it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds. And finally it's like, yes, thank you. Finally that happened. Like whatever it is, whether it's like a romance or whether it's like overcoming like a powerful enemy, you know, whatever it is. The one that did it the best, and I just enjoy that, like that. It's just like, it's a constant tease. And then finally, like it comes to resolution, and they just, bam, just punches it just perfectly. Is Pride and Prejudice. I kid you not. You read that and you go, you guys are being so stuck up. You guys are being so staunchy, but just like when it finally you get to the end of it with Mr. Darcy and I forget the main character, what her name was. Ah, God, is this gonna bug me?
I'm going to blank on all their names, but I'm going to say you are 100% correct. But that is a book that you started and it's rough. You get halfway through it and you don't want to continue. You're just kind of like, I'm not sure I'm really enjoying this. But if you suck it up and go through it and actually read it and understand what you're reading, that ending is so thoroughly just...
Oh, yes.
Wow.
And that stuck-up woman, the older woman, I forget her name for the life of me, but when Elizabeth just like talks, just like puts her in her place, it's like, yeah!
Oh, yeah, dude, the book... It's a very, very, for me personally, it was a very rough read to get into. It was a very rough read to push through the middle. I think I put it down for like 2 months and then had to pick it back up and go back a chapter to kind of reread and get back in the mindset. And I mean, this was, forever ago, dude. Like at least 15-ish years. Yeah, but if you can push through to the end, that book... that'll knock you on your ass, man. It's good. It's good. Like Blue's over here, and I can see him physically shaking. Like, yeah, it felt that good, and it's gonna feel that fucking good in your brain as well, and you're going to enjoy the shit out of it. But it is, in my personal opinion, a very rough book to start and get through. But that ending is so fucking worth it.
Yes, it is. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen. Our Damok, why don't you tell the good people?
We missed one. Yeah. We missed a topic.
Yeah, I know.
You planned it all out.
I did, but we're running long in the tooth, and we can't run long in the tooth in this.
I don't have long teeth anymore, man. I grind them in my fucking sleep. I'm supposed to wear a retainer, but I don't.
You should. I don't think I can do that without having something in my mouth. You should really wear your retainer.
Yeah, I probably should go and get one, but I'm not going to.
But
okay. Well, let Cecil talk about one thing next week that he's going to be super hyped about,
That's
right?
And it'll be a better time for him. So why don't you tell the good people where you can be found?
Well, if I'm not hanging out in the G.N.A. Discord, you can find me, hanging out with Choco Bear over in the fucking Thoughts and Shots podcast. Not quite sure he likes me calling him Choco Bear, but hey, you know what? It's out of love, brother. It's out of love. So, fuck yeah. Let's have some fun.
Very nice, sir. Very nice. And if you haven't already, ladies and gentlemen, our wonderful viewers, all of you who have the time for us, which we really appreciate it, you should check out Thoughts and Shots. They're an entertaining podcast. We've been on there before when they do their movie nights. You should check them out. But I'm your host, Blue Shark 45, and you can find me on Twitter at Blue Shark 45 when I'm not making horribly line pushing / line crossing jokes at the beginning of the G.N.A. podcast. Otherwise, you can find me on our G.N.A. Discord saying something every now and then, or saying way too much and not shutting my mouth when I should have shut my mouth 5 minutes ago. And you can find me on this show about every other week. Well, Damok, I'd like to thank you for joining us this evening and turning this into a two-man show rather than the solo one-man show solo cup that it probably could have become.
Dude, why the fuck you guys keep letting me on this show? I have no goddamn idea, but, here I am. I should be thanking you for, I should be thanking you for letting me fucking have a couple drinks and run my goddamn mouth, and I go in the morning like, did I really talk about that? Like, I know my butthole's that big, but is Blue's butthole as big as I described it as? I don't even know anymore.
Yes, you really did talk about how much you like Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, Okay, roger that, dude. Fuck you guys. I love that book, but it's rough. But stick it out to the end, man. Just fucking bear down on it. You'll enjoy it.
All right. You have a good night, and thank you all for listening. Oh, wait. Wait. What are we doing? What am I doing?
He got drunk and forgot off of his... This is the third beer I've had this week.
It is.
Yeah, he's like, I have it my little igloo koozie thing to make sure it stays cold and frosty for this show.
Yeah, because I had one in...
What is that? Wait, what was that, 4.2%?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 4.2% beers. Ladies and gentlemen, you should subscribe to this show on iTunes. We would love if you would rate and review us.
No, fucking dude, you blew it.
No. I'm doing
Podcast
this.
over. Fuck you guys.
No, I'm doing
this shit. If you don't know where to find us, well then you can come suck my dick at this point, because Blue is too drunk off of his 4% fucking beers. That, by the way, if you haven't seen him, he calls them the tall boys. They're like those mini fucking Sprites.
I didn't call
that you buy in
anything
a
a
store.
tall boy. You can find us on iTunes. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe. Reviews help other people find our wonderful show. You can also find us on Google. You can find us on YouTube. You can go find us on Spreaker, MyTuner, Your Listen, Spotify, and just about anywhere else. If we're not there, email us at email us at GNApodcast@GNAinyourdna.1. If you email us that, and you can ask us questions, you can send in comments and reviews of the show. We would greatly appreciate them, and we'll read them on the show next week. Humble Bundle is one of our sponsors of this show. Humble Bundle is a game purchasing site with a twist. Every game that you purchase, you can determine where your money goes. Charity, to the developer, instead of just going all to the publisher's pocket. You should go in there and you should put partner equals GNA Podcast at the end of any Humble Bundle link to let them know that we sent you to them. And make sure you go down there and you slide that bar for GNA Podcast all the way over to 0, because, well, you should give your money to other things besides us. We also have a Facebook account. You can find us on Facebook searching GNA Podcast. We have a Twitter at GNA Podcast. If you go on there to our Twitter account, we have a pinned tweet. You can click on that link and you can join our Discord. If you still can't find it, if it's not working, if you're having trouble, you can always tweet at Cecil Xavier or Blue Shark 45, and we will help get you to this wonderful... We'll just stick with one word, Discord. That is the GNA Discord. And also, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we have a website.
At www.whofuckingcaresanymore.com. No, really, it's GNApodcast.com, and you really should check it out. But legitimately, fucking pay attention. Tweet, email, fucking, I don't know, send a dick pic, whatever it is, saying that you want to play some Pathfinder, and I'll buy you the game of fucking Pathfinder. Say that you love Pride and Prejudice, and, you know, give me a detail that you've actually fucking read it, and I'll buy you the deluxe copy of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, and we'll go from there. And also, you assholes still have not claimed this damn solid state drive that I have. But I think that contest is going to come to a close. You have one more week to do it as the end of this podcast.
Thank you, Damok. And be sure to email those dick pics. We don't need them tweeted at us. No, thank you.
Dude, fucking tweet it, right? So you said it's GNA Podcast at GNAinyourdna.com?
GNA Podcast at GNAinyourdna.com.
So just to be clear on here, we are talking golf, November, Alpha, Papa, Oscar, Delta. I can keep going. Charlie, Alpha, Sierra, Tango at golf, November, Alpha, India, November, Yankee, Oscar, Uniform, Delta, November, Alpha, .com if you really want to do it. But I could do it as Charlie, Oscar, Mike, motherfuckers. I'm just going to extend this out because Blue looks like he's tired and I'm pissing him off. And it's just
No,
fun.
you. I was just making sure that you were covering all the letters, and yeah, you got it. You got it.
It's because I wrote it down on a fucking notepad and spaced it out properly, unlike some people who take 9 intakes into the intro
Hey,
that you're
that was
probably going to get
2.
fucking clipped anyways.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Oh, well.
No, this time it was 2. You got lucky, but man, when you first started these fucking intros, I'm like, god damn, man. Like,
Hey,
19
cold
fucking
opens,
tries.
Cold opens are hard. They're hard.
No, I'll give you that. It's a good time, though. Hey, man, I've enjoyed drinking with you and bullshitting. It has been a great fucking night. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Damok. It's been a great time. Have a good one.